all about the upgrades for the astronaut experience that will be flying to space today. Now, before we get started, do want to say a special hello to all of Team Blue out there watching and supporting the launch. Hey, team. And before we get into the details of launch, we do also want to start with the fact that today safety is paramount. Patrick and I are here. We've got this divider here, as you can see, and everyone on the mission is following strict guidelines to mitigate any COVID-19 risks. And down in West Texas, we have essential crew only for the mission.
That's right. Safety is always our top mission priority. So let's get into today's launch. This is very exciting as we now have 2 vehicles in operation, one of which is going to be dedicated to flying payload flights, and that one has flown 7 consecutive successful missions. Very nice. And now we have this new vehicle today that's going to be taking its first flight, and this one will be used for astronaut missions.
That's awesome. And as we get closer to flying humans, we of course have been building a history of successful missions proving out the safety of the new Shepard vehicle. And now that we're even closer, we're testing out features geared towards the experience for the astronauts inside the capsule. So why don't we take you through some of those features? Here you have our beautiful crew capsule. Today in the capsule, we will have the 6 seats installed. In one of them will be Mannequin Skywalker. He's going up for another flight this morning. And we have speakers now installed in the cabin with a microphone and a push-to-talk button so each astronaut can talk to mission control. We're flying the crew alert system. It's a panel at each seat with lights and sounds that give the astronauts alerts and important safety messages. Also, there is lining on the wall that you can see, which is nice and soft. So not only when you're floating around weightlessly, of course, but it's also designed to help suppress engine and other ambient noises inside the cabin. There are also environmental systems, including a cooling system and a humidity control to regulate temperatures and also prevent capsule windows from fogging during the flight, as well as we've got a carbon dioxide scrubbing system today.
Yeah, and Ariane, we should mention one awesome new addition to this first flight here. As we ascend and launch, about 16 seconds into the flight, we're going to start rotating the booster in the capsule at about 2 to 3 degrees per second, and that's going to rotate the whole stack, once every 2 to 3 minutes. Now, what that's going to do is for all the astronauts in the capsule, and Mannequin Skywalker in this case, they're going to be able to get a 360-degree view out of those gorgeous windows, over that West Texas valley and that, curved horizon of the Earth. So it's going to be little things like that that are going to make a huge difference for the astronaut experience.
Wonderful.
So I want to thank our engineers for designing this into the flight profile so that every astronaut is going to get that great view. So great job, team. Now let's check in on New Shepard as she gets ready for her 14th flight to space.
All right, everybody, welcome back for New Shepard's 14th mission to space. We're coming to you live. Now, Patrick, we've talked quite a bit about the fact that New Shepard isn't only for tourism, but also for research. And when we fly humans soon, scientists will be able to fly with their research. Also, astronauts could use the New Shepard for training to eventually go into orbital space or up to the International Space Station. So our platform allows astronauts to do end-to-end mission training, which could include, ground crew operations, vehicle operations, and the crew just in general gets good real-world team experience. And what this does is it builds upon our payloads program, which has already taken more than 100 payloads to space on previous missions. And as we noted today, Mannequin Skywalker is on board, and he's going to be taking some payloads with him. You want to tell us about that, Patrick?
Yeah, absolutely. So today, Mannequin Skywalker, our veteran astronaut right there, will be carrying some postcards in his flight suit from a nonprofit Club for the Future. Now, Mannequin Skywalker on his flight suit is also going to be wearing a pin from the club's partner, Space Camp from Huntsville, Alabama. Now, this is going to be the 3rd flight for our Club for the Future, and we have flown, we're about to fly 50,000 postcards on board this flight. Very exciting. And in total, we've flown more than 100,000 of these postcards to space from students around the world.
That's awesome. Have a great flight, Mannequin Skywalker. I think we're both pretty jealous that we're not in there with you today.
I know.
All right, Patrick, so we all know here at Blue Origin, we've got this step-by-step approach. It's our philosophy that we live by here at Blue. And while today's flight is focused on another big step towards flying humans, it's also going to continue to prove out technologies and architectures that we'll use on other vehicles. And Patrick, I believe there actually is some technology on board today that is helping one of the projects that you're working on. Is that right?
That's right, Ariane. So I'm part of our advanced development programs team, and we're very thankful for all the progress that New Shepard has made. It's a very robust system, and on this mission, we're going to continue to prove it out for human spaceflight. But in doing that, we're also going to be further demonstrating the flight heritage of that BE-3 engine there. That's a liquid hydrogen, liquid oxygen engine on that booster that you see there. Now, for our descent element, which is part of the integrated human landing system, that's the lander for NASA's Artemis program, we're using that same vertical landing, vertical takeoff architecture. Right. We're using the same autonomy schemas, and then we're also using the same propellant type for that BE-7 engine there on that bottom of that lander too. Now, if you see right there, that's our BE-7 engine firing at Huntsville, Alabama. That's at NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center. Gorgeous. I love seeing all that smoke and fire come out of that engine, right?
Yeah, and if you look closely, I think you can even see some shock diamonds in there.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's actually all steam. That's because when you have liquid hydrogen, liquid oxygen burning together, it actually produces, just steam, which is really, super eco-friendly if you're firing these things in the atmosphere.
Of course, what we see coming out of the tail end of New Shepard on her way to space, right?
Exactly. Very, very same propellant combination. And so, as we saw on our last flight, we had lunar landing sensors on that one on board the booster, and that allowed us to test precision landing technology for terrain relative navigation and hazard avoidance. And as you saw there in that picture-perfect landing, our team gathered a lot of great data, and we're flowing into future New Shepard flights with those sensors, as well as to NASA to advance this sensor technology even further. And so in the future, we can take all of that great tech and apply it to our lunar missions. And so with every mission that we do on New Shepard, that's helping propel all the other programs that we have going on. So a good day for New Shepard is actually a great day for our lunar landing system, the human landing system, NASA's Artemis program, and all of the other programs we have here at Blue Origin.
Right. We do spend a lot of time thinking about the longer term architecture, right? They're all connected somehow, so the work kind of spills over into future projects. Well, so on that note, I would like to roll a film that we have here that compiles all the progress that we've made. And when I say we, I mean our national team. We're working together with Lockheed Martin, with Northrop Grumman, and with Draper to go back to the moon with NASA, and this time to stay.
The national team is the kind of outstanding leadership, outstanding experience that I like to work with. Blue Origin itself brings innovation and modern thinking to the table. Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman and Draper all bring an extraordinary experience, not only from Apollo, but before Apollo into the present.
We've been developing the BE-7 for several years. Cygnus has been flying resupply missions to the space station. Orion has been in development for a long time. And so
we'll look at the preforms and the weldments, and we'll look for cracks and any defects.
Tour, but also we're very proud to be able to fly a set of your wings. Welcome back, everybody, to New Shepard's 14th mission to space. We are T-minus 12 minutes to go until launch. This rocket that you see on the pad, minutes to go until launch. I do understand our BE-4 engine, 550,000 pounds of thrust. That's in comparison. They've got full clearance there. There are 4 fins on the base of that rocket. You want to check these aerodynamic surfaces and systems before flight. This is just exactly what a pilot does on an aircraft. Waiting here for the engine gimbal check. You see the nozzle there peeking out. There it goes. The engine is also obviously to propel the rocket, but is critical in guiding the rocket on its ascent, but as well as on its descent as it comes into land on the northern landing pad just 2 miles north of where the rocket is taken off from. All right, and that takes us to launch. Lieutenant Control, here we go, New Shepard. Have a great flight, Mannequin Skywalker. Enjoy that shiny new capsule, and we'll see you back home soon at Launch Site 1.
T-minus 16, guidance internal. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Command engine start. 2, 1. Ignition.
Oh yeah, look at her go. Mission Control has confirmed New Shepard has cleared the tower on her way to space from Launch Site 1 in the West Texas desert with Mannequin Skywalker on board. Right about now, the fins on the aft portion of the vehicle are going to help the vehicle do its roll maneuver. The booster is going to be rolling at about 2 to 3 degrees per second, which equates to a full rotation of the vehicle every 2 to 3 minutes. This, of course, is to give the astronauts a 360-degree view during the flight. All right, coming up here on max Q, maximum dynamic pressure on the rocket is the toughest portion of the flight for the rocket, and we've confirmed max Q. Excellent. All right, you can see on the top right side of your screen, that's where you can follow along as we're gaining speed as she climbs up towards space. In the bottom left corner is the altimeter, noted in feet above ground level, although you may have noticed at liftoff we were sitting at 3,700 feet above mean sea level. That's the altitude of our West Texas launch site. Now, Mannequin Skywalker, and they're starting to feel those Gs, around 3.5 Gs on the way up to space. It's very similar to a roller coaster, but in that horizontal position of the seats, definitely is a much more comfortable ride. All right, now approaching main engine cutoff, or MECO. So we're going to shut off the BE-3 engine. MECO is confirmed. Now you'll notice that the booster and the capsule are continuing as their combined ascent to space. As you watch the altitude continue to, speed is dropping, of course, as it no longer has the propulsion from the BE-3 engine. Separation of the two craft is confirmed. You can start to see the two craft in the screen. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us live for New Shepard's 14th mission to space, the maiden launch for this rocket. So far, everything appears to be nominal. The two craft have separated. Right about now is when, if you were an astronaut in there, that's when you'd be able to float around, gaze out of those huge, gorgeous windows, maybe even do a somersault or two. I know I would certainly do that. And as we've noted in previous flights, if you follow along on the speed on the top right corner, as soon as that speed hits 0, that's when you know that the rocket and the capsule have hit its apogee point, the highest point in the flight of the rocket. There you go, it's hit 0, and now they are heading back home. We should have an unofficial apogee altitude coming up here shortly. But we have gone well over 100 kilometers, the Kármán line, the official line of space, and there it is, 350,827 feet above, I believe, mean sea level. So that is excellent. A great flight, well over the Kármán line. Mannequin Skywalker is an astronaut once again. Now the capsule should be continuing to do its slow spin. Everybody gets a window seat in the capsule of New Shepard, but now we're making sure everybody gets the perfect view. All right, the two craft are heading back home now. The booster is going to beat the capsule back home. Obviously, it's more aerodynamically shaped, and so it's going to come down first. Right about now, in the next 10 to 15 seconds or so, this is when we expect the rocket to hit atmospheric pierce point. That means that's when it's coming back in, and it's back home from space, and it has enough air pressure upon which it can use its aerodynamic surfaces to push, and that will help guide the rocket back to its landing pad, again, 2 miles north of where it's taken off from. We have confirmation that the wedge fins have been deployed. Those fins are at the forward section, the top section of the rocket. They're housed in the ring fin. They also help provide stability for the rocket as it comes into land. And this booster is screaming home right about now. Its maximum return velocity is just under Mach 4. So we're looking now for the drag brakes to deploy. As soon as those deploy, you'll see the speed come down very rapidly. You're starting to see that in the top right corner there. And then in quick succession, we're going to get the BE-3 engine to restart. The landing gear will deploy, and then the booster will come in for a nice soft touchdown. There are the drag brakes. Engine restart. Landing gear deployed. And touchdown. Welcome back, New Shepard. Oh, you can hear our team back here at headquarters enjoying this moment for this rocket. What a day. Did a nice little maneuver there to bring it back to the center of the pad, but that is what we're looking for. A completely autonomous system, Patrick. That never gets old. That's the type of stuff that makes live rocket launches and landings so exciting.
I know. Every time I see that booster come back, it's just like your heart's in your throat. But it's so exciting to see it actually come back and just perfectly land down there.
Incredible, incredible. Kudos to our whole team for adding yet another rocket to our fleet. Wow. Okay. Well, the show is not over.
That's right.
We still are waiting here for the crew capsule to come back. As noted, first the drogue chutes will deploy. Those are like the guide parachutes. The mains will then deploy. You'll also see the mains then inflate to full inflation. And once they're fully inflated, that's when the crew capsule starts to slow down. Comes in a nice 15, 16 miles an hour, a nice cruise back home. We'll wait for it to come back in to our valley in West Texas, and it will land. And just as we talked about, just in the last milliseconds, the retro thrust system fires, and it creates a nice pillow, air pillow, if you will. So Mannequin Skywalker, by the time he touches down, it's just at about 1 mile an hour. It's a nice, soft touchdown. And there we go. The crew capsule has its mains deployed, fully inflated. What an incredible day for the team. What a beautiful shot. You know, Mannequin Skywalker, I mean, if he had adrenaline, his heart would be thumping pretty hard. What a day. All the way up over the Kármán line and back, coming in for a nice soft cruise back into our West Texas Valley there. Just about 400 feet above ground level, we're waiting for the retrothrust systems to fire, and then a nice soft landing. And touchdown. What a day. What a beautiful shot. Congratulations to all of Team Blue. Really well deserved. This is our 14th mission. A safe landing for the booster, safe landing for the crew capsule. We added we talked about add a little bit of char to the bottom of the to the bottom of that rocket. Came back nice and clean though. Look at that. Absolutely spectacular. Now, if you were an astronaut on board that capsule there, you would have had an incredible ride up over the Kármán line and back. Get the big, beautiful views out of the, we did the 360-degree spin this time. Get your 3 minutes of weightlessness. I can't wait to check out the onboard cameras to see the views that Mannequin Skywalker experienced today. Just what a day.
I know, and how about those drone shots of the rocket and actually the capsule coming down? Those were pretty spectacular.
Those were beautiful. Looks like a nice, clean landing right there in the desert. Everything looks to have gone perfectly today. So our recovery crew is going to be headed out to the crew capsule to open up the hatch, inspect the craft, greet Mannequin Skywalker, and retrieve the postcards on board.
Yeah, I always think about this moment when I try to visualize, what would it be like to actually fly on New Shepard and be coming right back down. And so you just landed safely, the hatch just opens, and now for the first time you step out of the hatch back onto Earth, and you're an astronaut. And you've seen the Earth from 100 kilometers up from space just moments ago, and now here you are back on it. I mean, that must just be incredible. But this was such an exciting mission, such an exciting day. Let's take a look at some of the replays here to show you that gorgeous takeoff and landing.
There we go, the BE-3 engine firing. 110,000 pounds of thrust, pushing that rocket and the crew capsule up to space. Patrick, I know you've been down there during these launches. The rumble that comes from that engine as the rocket is taking off is just incredible. It shakes your bones.
It really does. And, as it takes off, it goes really fast. There's a lot of rockets where, the ascent is actually quite slow. But this one, I mean, it's flying.
It's going. It's gone.
Yeah, and as we said earlier, today is a huge win, not just for New Shepard, but also for our human landing system and our return to the moon. That BE-3 engine that you see right there, that's a liquid hydrogen, liquid oxygen propellant combination. And that's the same combination that we use on BE-7, our lunar lander engine. And you can right there, you can see that power, when it launches, and you can see that precision when it lands too, right? When you throttle it down, you get that nice precision landing.
Nice soft landing.
And so, if we were just building New Shepard just to do this mission, the suborbital mission, we would have probably chosen, a different propellant type, something much easier to work with. But this combination is just so powerful and so efficient and so useful. We use it on the upper stage of New Glenn, again, in order to get that efficiency. And that's why we're also using it on the BE-7 engine that will power that descent element for the human landing system for NASA's, Artemis program. And, you know, as we all know, there's water ice in the South Pole on the moon. So I imagine one day here in a very near future, when we have built out our South Pole infrastructure on the moon, we're going to be able to use that water, break it down to liquid hydrogen, liquid oxygen, refuel our lander and use it again and again. I mean, that's going to go such a long way to make our sustainable presence on the moon.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see the lunar lander, and then the lunar lander with humans on board, right? Every program here at Blue Origin has been designed for human spaceflight from the very beginning. And as for today's mission, as we mentioned, we flew some upgrades to the astronaut experience inside this capsule that you see on the screen. So we're getting really close to flying humans. We're getting there. And as we watch the recovery team, why don't we run through some of the upgrades that we had on board today? So the capsule that you see there were 6 flight seats on board. Mannequin Skywalker, of course, was in one of them. The speakers in the cabin have a microphone now and a push-to-talk button at each seat so the astronauts can talk to mission control on the ground at all times. We flew the crew alert system, which has a panel on each seat with lights and sounds that convey important safety messages. The wall linings in the capsule help suppress engine and ambient noise for comfortable acoustics inside the cabin. Also, environmental systems, including a cooling system and humidity controls to regulate temperatures and prevent the capsule windows from fogging up during flight. Of course, when you're up there, you want to see that gorgeous view. So some really exciting stuff. You see there on your screen there, that's our recovery team that has made it out to the capsule. As we mentioned, they're going to open up the hatch, greet Mannequin Skywalker back, and then get those postcards because we want to stamp them flown to space and send them out to all the kids. So before we close out here, I do hear that we have the statistics from today's mission. Why don't we take a look? These, of course, are unofficial statistics. We will release the official statistics after the webcast. So crew capsule apogee, 350,827 feet. Maximum ascent velocity, 2,242 miles per hour. Mission start time, 11:17 a.m. Central Time. Mission elapsed time, 10 minutes and 15 seconds.
That's super inspiring. I mean, it's so exciting to see us be able to, you know, hit these numbers over and over. And, you know, if you were inspired, just like we were super inspired by what you saw here today, and want to come help us, you know, build that road to space, you know, we're hiring across all of our locations in the United States. We're hiring for New Shepard, for New Glenn, for engines, and of course for advanced development programs for our human landing system. So I encourage everybody to go onto our website and actually go check those listings out.
Come join the
get
team.
A job. Yeah, come join the team. Help us build the roads to space. And of course, you can also commemorate today's launch. You can pick up one of these really cool official New Shepard 14 mission patches and other gear at our shop by going to shop.blueorigin.com. Look at that cool mission patch right there, man. I want to add that to my collection.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't you have all of them?
I do, all of them.
That is really, really cool. Well, I know that there are a lot of folks that want to get their hands on them, so again, please go to that website. All right, that is all from here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in for New Shepard's 14th flight to space. The success of this flight puts us one really big step closer to flying astronauts. And Patrick, there's going to be a lot of fun ahead in 2021.
Awesome.
All right, guys, stay in touch with us. And in the interim, stay safe out there. And as always, Gradatum Ferociter.